Good afternoon, and welcome back to Asgard, and welcome back to Quantus. I've been quite busy since last episode. You'll notice there's a lot more flooring down, a lot more borders with the black basalt. I went through about 40 stacks of basalt this morning, plus about 40 or 50 stacks of sand and bricks. So very, very expensive time. Or not just this morning, but over the past couple days. But right now, I mean, there's still a lot of work to do. I've still got a lot of clearing. This is going to be basically tiered. So, there'll be a level there, a level here, a level up here as well. Basically, the city is going to start rising. This is going to be the higher city, and then there's going to be like the really high up area, like the Imperial District, so to speak. And you'll notice over here, I mean, most of the flooring's done. Also, all the chiseled pieces are out of the garden area, which is great. Been doing a lot of that. Also, over here, we have a lot that's been cleaned up and floor added and stuff. I don't have any animals moved over here just yet. I've mainly been going to the mining world, mining up tons of sand, compressing it for carrying, and then also clay and basalt. We have 0 basalt on site anymore. I've went through all of it. But anyways, today what I want to work on is I want to really, really boost our quality of life. Now, we've made Tinker's Tools, both in the episodes and the streams. We've got this nice sword that's got Smite 2, it's got Luck. We've got our pickaxe here that we, use for breaking, just single blocks. It's got haste, it's got luck. It's super fast, it's wonderful. We have this excavator, which I actually haven't put the width and height modifiers on there just yet. I'll do that later. I haven't fully modified that one out just yet. We've got our Maddock that has Silk Touch and, instantly breaks stuff. It's got Crumbling, it's got Haster. It is super, super fast. And then, of course, we have our hammer that has the width and height that does the 5x5 and has luck 3. And then we have this lumber axe, which I haven't fully modified yet, but it's just a speed lumber axe for breaking down trees. So, I mean, that's great. But there's still some things that I want to make, and I wanted to do them on camera with you. They're a little bit different, than the standard Tinker's Tools. They're more specific use type things. And then in addition, I want to get some ranged weapons in order for the Wither fight this weekend to move to Era 3. So, anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing that I'm going to want, actually, is a bunch of paper. Let me go grab that really, really quick. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to want, let's just go ahead and grab a bunch of paper here. We won't need this much, but I'll eventually use it, I'm sure. But the first thing that we're going to want is a scythe. And I'm going to make it entirely out of paper. So we're going to need a scythe blade, or a scythe head, and then also 2 tough tool rods, and then also a tough binding. There we go. And let's go ahead and assemble this. And that, there we go. And so we got our paper scythe. We'll call it harvester. And the reason we want this is because the scythe, aside from being, a battle weapon, because we do have an XP scythe that Sheridan made, it can cleave enemies, and, kill all the enemies, but it can also be used to harvest items and leaves and things like that. And the nice thing about whenever you harvest crops with it is it harvests in a 3x3, and then also it replants everything. So, we're going to grab this. Now, you'll notice the durability is only 17. That's absolutely horrible. However, what we're going to do, I've got some obsidian here. Let me break this and this for right now. And we'll just put this in here, and I've got some aluminum brass right here. And I just want 5 just plates. They don't have to be anything in particular. I just need 5 of them. And then what I want to do is I want to make reinforced modifiers. Now these take any kind of cast, doesn't have to be blank, and then just surround it with obsidian to get your reinforcement modifiers. And basically the way these work is if you apply them, they're going to give a tool reinforced. You'll notice right here, reinforced 20%. However, if you put 5 of them on a tool, it's going to make the tool completely unbreakable. You'll notice right there, unbreakable. So normally whenever you harvest with a scythe, of course it's going to take a little bit of durability, but if you have unbreakable, you can infinitely harvest without having to repair. You can also use this for like Ender IO tools. It's actually very, very useful. For example, if I wanted to harvest this eggplant, there we go. Sometimes it doesn't register if you don't click on this middle block here. But you'll notice now I can harvest these full crops. So it would make, going through here very, very quick. And then in addition, it does give verdant sprigs, whereas right-clicking doesn't give you the verdant sprigs. So it will make your life a little bit easier, especially with our crops laid out like they are and everything. So, I can't remember. I think I have some of those down there. But anyways, just kind of a quality of life tool, and you never have to worry about repairing it or anything like that. So very, very handy to have. Now the next thing I want to make is I want to make another lumber axe. This one's going to be a little bit different. Of course, we have this lumber axe here that's just for cutting down trees and getting wood, especially from taller trees like jungle trees or something like that. It does make life a whole lot easier. But the next one that I want to make is fairly similar in design. We are going to need a broad axe head, and we're going to make the head of this out of cobalt. And then the binding for this, the plate, I want to make it out of cobblestone, like I have in the past, because of course that allows you, to have a cobalt tool, but repair it with cobblestone. It does drop the durability a little bit, but that's okay, because it does enable you to repair it. That's why I always carry this tool station around with me, so I can, have a stack of cobble and I can just repair things on the fly and just keep going without really worrying about durability. Because a lot of these tools do consume a lot of durability very, very quickly, because we're clearing out such large areas, like the 5x5 hammer and stuff like that. Now the tool rod, I want to make this out of night slime, because of course it makes it so that it'll mine things a little bit quicker for us when our harvest level is higher than the desired block. So of course cobalt has, a decently high harvest level, so it's always very, very handy when you have a cobalt tool like that. So far it's pretty much the same as our lumber axe, except for our lumber axe, of course, we did a cobalt binding right there, but in this case we're going to do something a little bit different, and that is we are going to use firewood. And now to get firewood, what you're going to need to do, and I'm actually going to move our smeltery drain, switch it out with, I think, this. We're going to set the smeltery drain right there, and let me get a faucet. We'll just put that on there, and the way you get your lava wood, or your lava wood, and then you have to turn it into firewood after that, is you're just going to put some wood planks into a basin and just pour some lava right on top of that. Let it cook up for just a second, and there we go. Now we have ourselves some firewood, or some lava wood, sorry, and we're going to turn it into firewood. Now it actually doesn't consume a whole lot of lava. I want to say that for the binding we need what, 3? Yeah, material cost of 3. Okay. And so now that we have that, what we need to do is just add some blaze powder to it, and 2 pieces will get you firewood. So that's great. And then let's go ahead and make our tough binding. And what this does is this will make a tool auto smelt. So very, very nice. And we'll just call it charcoal axe. And there we go. And then in addition to that, I want to go ahead and put fortune on it, because the nice thing about putting fortune on this axe is it's going to have a chance to give you additional coal. Just like if you were mining diamonds or something like that, you got that extra chance to get additional materials, and this has, pretty much the same effect. So I don't know if I have enough. I don't have enough lapis right now. Okay. That's fine. I'll get more lapis later, but we do have Fortune 2 on it, which is nice. And so, for example, if I was to take this axe out, and one reason I want this is, of course, because as of next week, we'll have Britannia. I'm going to be working a lot with Britannia. And, of course, Britannia starting out, you're going to need a lot of coal or, burnable stuff for your endo flames. So if I was to break down this wood, you'll notice I got 12 charcoal from that little birch tree. So very, very nice. There's 22. Hey guys. And once we have Fortune 3 on there, sometimes you'll cut down like a single like jungle tree and you'll get like a couple stacks of charcoal. It's absolutely wonderful. It really, really is. And for the additional modifiers on this, I think it has 2 more modifiers. Yeah, I'll probably just stick like redstone on it, chances are. But that way I can up the speed on it and whatnot. So I'll have 2 different axes. I'll have one if I want to get wood, and I'll have one if I want to get charcoal. And then, be able to really, really quickly, because what I'm probably going to do is plant a bunch of jungle trees, because I've been building this area out up here, and right up here is going to be like trees, like basically just a tree nursery. And of course with our mob farms, I mean, we have absolute ton of bone meal, from the two mob, hey guy, from the 2 mob farms that are over there. So, bone milling the trees and then cutting them down and getting like stacks of charcoal. It's going to be really, really easy. But anyways, the next thing I want to make 2 different sets of shurikens. So for those of you that don't know, crossbows, longbows, short bows, all that stuff. When Tinker's constructs change over to TC2, used to crossbows and bows, I mean, you could make ones that did, I remember having a crossbow that did like 90 something damage, it was absolutely insane. Well, in TC2, everything's a lot more balanced. So realistically, if you want a bow from TC, honestly, you're better off, realistically, with just a standard vanilla bow with power 5. And if you have flame and not unbreaking, but unusing, infinity, stuff like that, that's just a plus on top of that. The bows and as well as the pickaxes, realistically, I mean, if you have something with efficiency 5 on it, it's going to be balanced. So TC doesn't just blow away vanilla stuff anymore. But certain things like that, lumber axe and things like that, they're very, very handy to have things like that because they're more situational. And TC, I feel like, is more situational now than it used to be. Used to, it was end-all, be-all. Okay, you go TC for this and you get these tools. It's not that way anymore. So personally, in TC2, used to, I was a crossbow person. I loved crossbows. Now I'm more shurikens. I always enjoy the shurikens, but I absolutely love the shurikens in TC2 because they're so much more balanced with the bows and the crossbows, So we're actually going to be making 2 sets of shurikens today, both that will be used and primarily focused for the wither fight this weekend that will really, really make our lives so much easier. So let's go ahead and jump into that. Now, first up, I'm going to mix these shurikens up. I'm going to have each one of them is going to be half manulin, half silver. And I know some people say, well, go with bone. It builds up damage the more you hit. But the thing is, these shurikens are going to be situational. They're going to be something I switch to, throw maybe once or twice, and then switch back to my melee weapon. Or my vanilla bow that I have if I'm wanting to do like range damage at the time. So it's not going to be something that bone would really benefit from because I'm not going to be just hitting the mob repeatedly with the shurikens. And plus with the withers, of course, at half health, they become immune to range damage entirely. So, let me see here. Here we go, knife blade cast. And so let's go ahead and make ourselves 4 manual knife blades. And the reason I'm going manual is because it is the highest damage straight out, just for universal type damage. And then I'm wanting half of it to be silver because it does increase damage to undead. And of course, the wither classifies as undead. So that's the reason for that. So there we go. We got our 4 manulin knife blades. And then let's go ahead and flip it over to silver. And we'll get 4 silver knife blades. And of course, like I said, I mean, these are gauged for the wither fight. If you wanted something else, I would suggest, if you're going to use shuriken as like a constant range damage type thing, I would go with like bone or something like that, over just manulin and silver. But actually, I just noticed that if you have 1 silver, it's the same as 2 silver. So I'll tell you what, we're actually going to switch it up again. Okay, I'll tell you what, actually we are going to go with the bone knife blade. We're going to go bone knife, silver knife, and then 2 manual. And that puts us at 7.11 damage, 60 ammo, 3 modifiers, plus 3 versus undead. We get the splintering and the fractured effect. So I think it's fairly solid. Plus, like I said, I mean, it's going to be something I switch to just to get the effects of it, and then I switch back to a different weapon. I'm just trying to get, pretty decent damage on it while still having halfway decent ammo count. Super high ammo on this is not that important, though. I will go ahead and say. And then this other shuriken, we're going to set it up just the same way. I am going to kind of alter the layout of it just a little bit. So we'll do the silver, the bone, and the manual like that. So it's a little bit different of a layout. And we'll call this one healing shuriken. I may end up changing the names. I know they're not very inventive right now, but... and then this one we'll call slowing shuriken. And this slowing shuriken, I'm just going to put cobwebs on this one. And you'll notice it gets the effect webbed. Entangle your foes in cobwebs, slowing them. And for each level of web that you put onto something, it's going to increase the duration of that slow effect. So we're going to have web 3 on this shuriken. And then our healing shuriken, we're just going to stick necrotic bones on it. So we get necrotic, lifesteal plus 10%, 20%, 30%. So now we have these 2 really nice shurikens, and I'll show you what they do. Let me go find a mob here. Okay, so we got a zombie right here. That's great. And I hit him with that. Look how slow he moves. And this will work on the wither as well. You'll notice it actually does fairly good damage against undead. Like it really does. So that'll slow the wither down, and then if we need to, like if our health's getting low or something like that, we can switch over to our healing shuriken, throw a couple in there, and the necrotic effect from that is going to, really quickly bump our health back up. Especially having the smite. I mean, you're talking with the smite alone, plus the damage, it's like 10 damage, plus it has jagged and all that stuff. It'll be fairly decent damage. I mean, life stealing and stuff, because we got lifesteal 3 on it, so you're talking, what, like 30% of the damage that we deal comes back as health. So it will definitely get our health back up. Even if we have like the wither effect or something like that, as long as we have a target for that. And then, of course, if we're feeling really skippy, we can always drain Sheridan's health or something during the fight. Be like, oh, need health, throw it at Sheridan. But, yeah. So, anyways, that's, those 2 tools will definitely help with the wither. And, of course, this scythe. I love this scythe, by the way. This scythe is really going to help me out, going through the crops and harvesting all of them. Because we do have a lot of crops, having all the Pam's Harvestcraft stuff. And being able to just run down the line and just, AoE harvest with that scythe, it will make our lives so much easier. So anyways, with that, I do believe that I'm going to end out the episode. If you guys enjoyed it, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And like I said, at the end of the week, we're going to have a big wither fight. It's not a one-on-one wither fight either. It's like, it's a few withers that will be involved. Oh, it actually does not harvest the ender pearls, AoE. But that's okay. That's not so bad. Does it do redstone? No, it does not do redstone. Okay, well that's okay. I don't mind that too much because it's not really that big of an issue. But before we go and fight the wither, we'll have a couple more episodes before then. And I do plan on, redoing the redstone on that. To make it a little bit more compact for now. Honestly, I mean, once we have like redstone conduits or something like that, we can make it a lot more compact. But we'll do something temporarily. This thing doesn't... There we go. Sometimes it doesn't work as intended. Finding the centered point on it is kind of wonky sometimes. But it does speed things up by a bit, so I can't complain. But we'll also do a little bit of crop stuff for the gardens, because there's some automation that I want to do in the gardens. Fairly easy, but we will be, hopping on that in the next couple days as well, like during this week. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys then.